Hi there, everybody. This is Lee, and I'm talking about voting and elections and reform to the election process that is greatly needed, as we've seen with the 2016 election. And there are some I've noticed that seem to think that persons at the federal level, like the U.S. Congress or the president or someone high up like that, will be able to reform the election system. Like, we'll just vote the progressives into the U.S. Congress and then they'll fix everything in our election system. Wrong. No, it doesn't work like that. What happens is, in all of our 50 states and some of the territories, it is the state government that controls the election system. The U.S. Congress, the President, the Supreme Court, no, they do not control our election system. Each of the 50 states and the territories are the ones who have the power and authority to change the election system, whether it's redistricting, whether it's the voting process, setting the dates, setting the rules, the age limits, everything like that, whether felons can or ex-felons can vote, everything that is state controlled. For instance, Florida controls its own election system. Texas controls its own election system. California, etc. All of these states make their own rules. And so if you are in a state and you look at your electoral system, you say, this is bad, I have concerns. And some states have better systems than others. The onus is on you yourself to actually take steps to fix the election system. It's at the state level. So saying, well, we'll just vote some progressives in into the Congress and then they'll reform the election system. It doesn't work like that. It has to go through the state legislature. For one, that's one way you can lobby your state legislature at the state level. That means the state assembly, the state house, state senate, where these bills are created and then brought to the floor and voted upon. For instance, ranked choice. For instance, changing the date of the primary, to decide the petitioning guidelines, to decide the districting. This is state level. And so that's one way you can do it. You can, and most state assemblies and legislatures are meeting right now. And so if they are already not considering that, and then many are, bills have been submitted across the United States. And so I watch Ballotpedia or Ballot Access News is a good way to keep up to date. Fair Vote to see what state's doing what in order to reform their voting system. Gerrymandering is also being addressed in several states like Virginia, in Texas, North Carolina, Wisconsin. People are paying attention and are taking steps, but again, it is state level. And so you can use your state legislature. And so, the bill might go through the state legislature, they'll vote on it, and it'll either pass or not pass. And then it goes to the governor, and it might be vetoed or not vetoed. It might become law. And so that's the process. And say, for instance, everything goes right and you have ranked choice voting for your state, and that's something to be congratulated, and you can see if you can fix other things with the voting system too. But then sometimes it doesn't pass. And then it's up to the voters. If the state legislature won't do what the voters want them to do, then the voters have their opportunity to try to put this initiative on the ballot for whatever voting reform that they feel that they need, whether it's term limits for the state legislature that's not behaving as they should. Sometimes it's, you know what, instead of 16 years, we're going to limit you to 8, because we've seen enough to know that we need to put some limits on you. things like this. And so, then there's petitioning, and then if enough voters feel like sign the petition, like, okay, let's do this. And then that goes on the ballot for the 2018 election. And so the voters will decide. Again, it's not your U.S. congressman. It's not, the president that can help you with this. You have to go through your state election, or, your state government in order to make this happen. And so, if you're wanting reforms in your state and your election process, you do have to go through channels at the state level. And so, saying like Bernie's gonna fix it, the U.S. Congress is gonna fix it. No, you have to fix it at the state level, at the local level. And that's the other reason why you should be really paying close attention to your local municipal machinery. It's very important. Your city council, your commissioners, people who sit on boards, the state assemblies, all those seats are vital in order to have a government that works for the people. And so this is what people mean when they say grassroots. All politics is local. It does start at the local level. And that means that it's the voters who have to lobby their state legislature, even the governor. They have to lobby each other, go out into the communities and lobby their friends and neighbors. Like, can we get together and say we want to do this, and then work to make it happen? And then sometimes there's a corporate influence at the local level too. Corporations already know that politics are local. There are corporations who have dedicated themselves towards killing ballot initiatives just like this, so they can control the state government. And then if they control the state government, then they control the federal government, because it's the state government that decides the voting process used to elect federal officials. All politics are local. And so hopefully that makes sense. I'll post links in the description, and so you can follow your state and pay attention to what's happening. There are open seats for 2017. There's special elections, and then there's scheduled elections for 2017 at the local municipal level. There's a few federal offices that are open because people have left those offices to go into the Trump administration. And so voting at the local municipal level and the state level is so very vital, because it does affect eventually presidential politics. And so 2020 is like 3 years away, and it's fun to speculate, but you have to start at the local level in order to build a movement that can affect the presidential election. And in 2018, there's over 1,000 seats open, not just in the U.S. Congress, not just the governor's seats, not just the U.S. Senate, that there are state assembly seats, legislative seats, mayoral, city council, commissioner board. And so, we want to turn them progressive. If you are progressive, then that's the idea. And so it might be you that runs for that seat, because sometimes those seats go unopposed. And if it's unopposed and there's someone in there that's not responding to the people, that they're responding to corporate influence, then there's probably not much room for reform. And so again, that's how you be the change that you wish to see. That there's so many seats open that maybe not one particular progressive group is able to dominate and cover all those seats and put progressive candidates into all those seats. And so with the many progressive groups that have sprung up, that have actually been established for decades, maybe some, and then some more of the newer progressive groups, hopefully that they will work together to cover all of these down ballot seats, and to cooperate and put a progressive machine together and send candidates into office, not in 2017, starting now today, we've got elections coming up in Pennsylvania, March 21st. And then there's elections in April, May, June, July, all the way up into November. Various positions. And so the machine is being built right now. And it's necessary to vote and to pay attention, whether it's mayoral races or state senate or commissioner. All of them are vital. And so, it starts right now, and everyone can participate. And then 2018, every single state has congressional seats open, and then the down ballot positions. And again, voting is very vital. And if you don't see what you want being announced as a candidate, then it might be you who has to run as a progressive in order to make that change. So I say good luck to all the progressives who are building the machine and playing a part, being a bolt or a nut or a gear in the machine to make it move forward and ever upward. And so again, it starts today, it starts now, and then it really gets into gear in 2018. So everyone pay attention and don't overlook those state electoral seats that come open. All politics are local, and so electoral reform is local too as well. Good luck.